welcome to Annette's Astrology Corner. This is Annette, and I am your empath astrologer, and I am here to talk to you about something that's very dear to my heart. Your North Node and your South Node. Now, when I give you guys personal readings, you're going to find that I talk a lot about ascension. So let me talk about ascension first, and then I'm going to dive into the North and the South nodes and the relevance to how it helps us ascend and actually manifest what we are supposed to become anyway. So ascension is essentially rising above our predisposed wiring. Now, a lot of times you'll hear me talk about the higher vibration of an energy and the lower vibration of an energy. And when I'm talking about these two vibrations, I'm talking about them because me, and the way that I want to direct people who I either read for or who I talk to or who I affiliate with a lot, is I'm interested in helping people tap into the most positive forms of yourself, as well as the energies that guide you, as well as the current energy in the universe. And the reason why that I like you guys to tap into all of these energies is because we want progression in life. We want to move forward with ourselves. We want to become our potential. We want to ascend and actually become our authentic selves. And there we find our authentic purpose in life. When we are going through this process, inevitably ego has to be broke down. Now, one of the most fascinating things that I've been researching is the fact that all of the cardinal energies were highlighted in these Pluto Uranus squares. To understand ascension, you have to understand energy. When you ascend, you must take action against the grain. You must have the confidence to go against your predisposed wiring and move forward to something beyond what makes sense to you, what makes logical, rational sense to you. When the Pluto-Uranus squares happened, they affected cardinal energy. Cardinal energy is the change of seasons. It's the ultimate action in the universe. It takes us from spring to summer, from summer to fall, and from fall to winter. That is a very significant action of the universe. And with each one of those seasons comes a different part of ourselves. I don't know if you ever notice that you're a different person in the summer than you are in the winter. You're a different person in the spring than you are in the fall. These cardinal energies manifest different seasons in our lives, different seasons in our year, different seasons in where we are moving forward in. And so when these cardinal energies were focused on by these Pluto-Uranus squares, essentially, all of the things that the South Node represents was actually removed from us. They were stolen. They were taken from us. They were abruptly ended. I mean, there was so much dramatic change in a cardinal energy. We actually didn't know what to do after that. How do you take action when all of the actions that used to manifest results weren't manifesting results? I mean, come on, if you look back from 2007 on up, even though the Pluto-Uranus squares weren't happening in 2007, the energy was building towards these Pluto-Uranus squares. So I noticed the breakdown in my life, if I pattern it back, and many of you that I've talked to, the energies all start breaking you all down in about 2007. When the significant Pluto-Uranus squares began to manifest in all of our lives and to create the significant change that it did, we were already going through the breakdown. We were already going through that time in our lives where we were starting to question what we valued, or the way that we get the things that we value, or the relationships that we're in. We were manifesting change already, yet we didn't know it. When the Pluto Uranus squares started happening to us, it was the universe's way of correcting our thinking. It's so much bigger than I can explain, because all of us find comfort in our south node. We're born with a north node at a certain point and a south node at a certain point, and these two nodes are at opposition. They're at 180 degree angles. And so, of course, it's more like everything that we've got to balance the two, but most of us were caught in our south node way of thinking. It is where we're comfortable. It is our predisposed wiring. It is our karmic past, if you believe in Vedic astrology. It's just the way, it's the wiring that makes us feel authentic. It's just what we do really easily. But it's an obstruction. It suppresses our authentic self. If we always do everything that's just really easy for us, we don't ever reach potential. We don't ever get the confidence. We don't ever progress forward if we don't have something to push us in a forward motion. A lot of times as we get older, and especially as we get older, we get stuck in these routines because the routine provides us the comfort, but this routine is what actually holds us down and prevents us from being truly and deeply happy. The north node is where we are going to manifest our authentic selves. It is where we are going to find our purpose. It is where we are going to be expressive and outgoing, and where we truly live, where we truly find deep happiness. In the south node, we find oppression and suppression, and we find routine, and we find deep, it's where fear lies. Fear, I think, lies in the south node. If we become authentic, say we are an accountant, and we're Virgo, so we're an accountant. We're really good at it. We like to process and organize things, and numbers come easily to us. It just makes sense for us to do what's truly easy for us, and that's just our predisposed wiring. But we're not authentic then. We're never truly happy when we're just punching out numbers. We always secretly hold some sort of dream. We always secretly wanted to be something more than that accountant that sat there and just crunched a bunch of numbers for somebody. And so we have this duality in us. We want that, and as we get older, that dream just gets further and further away. As you're younger, as you're a kid and you're growing up and you're first starting college, you believe in that dream. You believe in that reality. And then maybe, I don't know, you get somebody knocked up and they get pregnant, or you find somebody to marry, and your choices change from your authentic purpose, from your dream, to manifesting reality and getting caught up in it and doing what comes easy to you, your south node. Then as you hit about your 30s, late 30s, and you went through your first Saturn return, you start to feel like there should have been something more to your life. For most of us, it's called a midlife crisis, but it essentially is. It is the universe's way of saying, do you really see yourself doing this for the next 20 years? Are you really truly happy just crunching numbers for somebody else and sitting in a cubicle all day? Or were you truly, are there a bunch of paintings under your bed that you paint every once in a while and you stick them under there and you hide your soul, you hide yourself? The north node is your soul. It's yourself. It's your authentic purpose. It's your way of being. It's who you were put on this earth to be. Your south node is important as well. I don't want to negate the south node. I don't want to say that the south node is not important, because it is truly important for you to be good at something naturally. That's what helps you support your dreams to get you to where you want to go. You want to ascend to your north node. The problem is as human beings, we tend to get stuck in the south node because it comes easily. And all of us just want things that come easily. I mean, we all want to be successful, and we all want that dream, that all-American dream, or, you know, wherever you're from, there's that programming, that collective thinking pounds into you that says, you know, you should be this type of person, and you should look this way, and you should act this way. And so we rely on our south node to fit in to society. It helps us fit somewhere. It helps us become stable. But we're not put on this earth to do exactly what is easy for us. The Pluto Uranus Squares taught us that as solid as you make that foundation on your south node, the energies can come in and take that away anytime they want to. The Pluto Uranus Squares shook us up, shook us back to reality, removed material possessions, removed collective thinking, removed material possessions. Some of us lost our homes. Some of us lost our ability to pay for our cars. Some of us lost significant relationships. Some of us lost family members, people that provided us the ability to lean on our south node way of thinking. We lost those props, those things that kept us submerged in concrete south. We lost that. And thank God for that. Thank God. I'm telling you, we are alive during one of the most beautiful times, even though it has probably been some of the most difficult times for all of us to go through. It is God's and the universe's way of jackhammering the concrete that we're stuck in and freeing us to go into the world and become who we really authentically are, freeing us to push forward and to take action, to become the cardinal energy that's in these Pluto-Uranus squares, to fully take action and move forward. That's what this was all about. I mean, if you look, and if you sit down and you just do a map of all these energies, it's very fascinating to me because I've been doing it lately and I'm pretty charged up by it. So my south node is in Virgo and my north node is in Pisces. My south node, I want to rely on others. I want to go to work, sit in a cubicle, process data, and I want somebody else to pay me to do a good job. I want them to tell me I'm doing a good job. I want them to direct me on how to do a good job. I want to follow orders. That is how I identify myself. It's a mutable energy. So if I get affirmation from others, I feel good about myself. I feel like I'm doing a good job. And the fact that processing and organizing information and researching comes so easily to me, it just seems like the logical step. Why would I ever do anything on my own when there are people out there who need people like me to pay me to do what they essentially don't have the patience or the tolerance to do those menial little tasks that Virgos like to do. However, when the Pluto-Uranus squares started happening to me, and since about 2007, the energy was building, it became difficult for me to maintain a job. It was like God kept coming in there, and as soon as I got good at that job, as soon as I got the praise and the affirmation that I needed in my life, God would come in there and just take the carpet out from underneath me and the job would go away. Now, in my whole life, hard work always paid off. hard work, dedication, and being the busy bee and being a follower in collective thinking was always what got me ahead in life. So I didn't really understand these energies at all. And it seemed like the world was working against me since primarily 2000, I would say about 2009 to about 2000, the end of 2014. Well, into March, I think I still felt some of this energy, but it wasn't as bad as up to about January. Now, I didn't get it. It seemed like the world was ganging up on me. And during this time, I just turned to spirituality. Now, I can't define why. I think your north node instinctually kicks in when your south node begins to dissipate and lose its hold on you. So all the things that I found so rock solid in my south node, the things that provided me the solid foundation in the past and helped me always get ahead, they weren't working. So I turned toward things that truly fed my soul, fed me. Now, I have a Pisces north node in direct opposition with my south node. And these energies could not be more different. Getting caught in my south node, I was a critical person. I was completely judgmental. I couldn't see the big picture. I liked the process. I was very OCD. I liked my lists. I liked everything to make sense. And my Virgo energy was very, very dominant in the way that I ran my life because it made sense. It was instinctual. It was karmic for me. It was something that it came so easy to me. It seemed so right. When these energies came in and took all of that away from me, I had no identity after that. All of the things that I felt that I had learned in all of those years. Now, mind you, this is in my late 30s when all this stuff started to kick in. My late 30s. And this is about when, Saturn comes into your life and starts really working its magic in there. So there was energies at play that were removing the obstacles from me. Now, did I feel like they were removing obstacles? No, I felt like they were creating obstacles. It was a creation of nothing but an obstacle after an obstacle after an obstacle. One thing I had to overcome, and then the next one, as soon as I overcame it, I had to overcome something else. But through this metamorphosis, through this process of ascension, through this process, I really became obsessed with astrology. Now, I had always been into astrology. Always. Because it just made logical sense to me. And anything that makes logical sense to a Virgo, they're going to hold on to and they're going to research out and they're going to collect the data over time. And it could be a quiet process. And for me, it was a very quiet process. I didn't talk about astrology with anybody. It wasn't very acceptable with most of the people I knew. So it was just, I collected data by myself. I just observed and I read more. And as I read more, I observed more. And the science of astrology became a provable science to me, not just some metaphysical, manifestation out of somebody's imagination, but an actual physical, tangible, and accountable science to me, truly, through my own observations. And, well, of course, through supportive literature out there, but I still have to have it proved to me because I'm that way. But through this process, the spiritual side, the inside of me, the authentic side, the core, the soul, my soul became enlightened with something that isn't a Virgo thought process. And that's when the Pisces energy began to fill in me, and that is when my North Node became activated and my ascension began. Now, ascension is absolutely essential if you want to figure out what your purpose is, if you want to figure out why you're here, if you want to figure out how to be truly at peace in this world, you must ascend. And God's gift, the universe's gift, whatever you hold dear as a holy power, listen to the world dying in their south node. Listen to the world getting stuck in collective thinking. And it activated change on a mass scale through the Pluto Uranus squares. This energy is action on every level. It's earth, wind, fire, and air. It is the essence of what makes us who we are. And that is what was activated during these Pluto Uranus squares, but activated in a way of significant change. It was the core of what a cardinal energy was. It was activated. It created dramatic upheavals in our lives to create the freedom to want to make the changes, to activate change. That's what these energies were about. And then Pluto was in there and Uranus was in there, just creating freedom, freedom from oppression, digging deep into our fears and finding the deepest parts of us and where we have the most limitations, in the deepest, darkest parts of us. That's where Pluto was pulling out and dredging out all of this stuff for us to face. And that's why most of us were in significant karmic relationships at this time, devastating karmic relationships at this time. Our egos were broke down through this revelation of who we really are, through looking at that mirror and seeing who we really, really are. And through this revelation, we received enlightenment. We received a revelation that we don't know what the heck we're doing. So we sat there and we were like, I don't know what just happened, but I don't know what to do right now. Ascend. Understand your purpose. Understand the difference between your north and south node. Understand the influences in the energies right now trying to pull us toward ascension, trying to pull us up north, trying to pull us like that, and just getting us out of our own destructive patterns. If you understand the ascension process, then you can understand where you're supposed to go. And that's by understanding your north and south nodes. So during my readings, and the reason why I made this video is because I want you guys to understand why I'm going to focus so much on ascension. Because ascension is the key, is what all of these energies were all about. It was all about getting us to the point where we could finally ascend, where we could finally bring forth the changes in our lives that we needed to manifest a new us. The children that were born during these Pluto Uranus squares are going to literally be nothing but change agents in life. They're going to be leaders. No longer are we followers in collective thinking in our south node, in our past life, in our karmic pools. No longer are we there. We are moving forward to an unknown world. It's like a plague came in and wiped out the entire world, and now we're stuck repopulating and replenishing the world with nothing like what it was before. You know, maybe government had been broke down during this huge plague, and so we have to restructure government. Like, that's the kind of energies that we're looking at right now. That's the Libra energy, which I think is going to be activated. There's going to be a new government demand. There's going to be a new equality demanded through this, through the Libran energies. And then through the Aries energy, it's the ability to move forward. It's activating self-confidence. It's re-identifying yourself in your authentic self so that you can be the strongest version of yourself during this reincarnation. The Cancer energy, the nurturing energy, the energy to be feminine, and the energy to love unconditionally is being activated during these Pluto Uranus squares. The energy, people are lost. They need love more than ever. And there's nothing more loving than a Cancer sign. Capricorn. The Capricornian energy is we want a solid foundation. We want to build something that that will stand the test of time, not be temporary, not be corporate brand, not be delegated by somebody and said, you are only worth this much energy and this much money. So this is what I'm going to pay you. You're going to stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm worth this much money, and I'm going to go into business for myself, and I'm going to make a name for myself, and I'm going to generate the stability within inside myself. These energies are huge and activated right now, and there's no going back. There's absolutely no going back. And I'm sorry to say that. I know that all of us want to go back to the way it ideally was in our lives when we valued what we valued. I know for me, I love the 80s. I do. It was a great time in life. People were innocent and sweet. It was wonderful to grow up in. And so ideally, I always think about the 80s as like my ideal time that I want to go back to, but we're never going to go back to those times. Life is never going to ever be that way again. And so that's something that you have to face and be present in. You have to be present in this energy, present. So you have to stop going back to your past and trying to pull forth all of the issues that you once had. You have to then regenerate yourself, re-identify yourself, and find your authentic purpose and move forward with all this Aries energy. And you can do all this by tapping into the North Node energy. And I can go into all these energies have a purpose. And so understanding the difference between your North and your South Node and the opposition between the two and the pull to be down on your South Node, but how we can find inner peace and to go forward to ascend to the North Node is just my whole primary objective for doing astrology. I mean, I love to talk about all the energies. I like to talk about how the planets are influencing us on a day-to-day basis. I mean, all that stuff is very fascinating to me, and it's very interesting to talk to, but I truly am obsessed with the ascension process because I think that's the key. Our nodes are the key. And during this last Pluto Uranus square, if you remember, your North Node was being activated. And so that North Node, it's like energy was being poured into your North Node, and it filled you up. And so now you're left with this feeling of wanting to change everything. That's what it is. That it's your North Node energy being the predominant energy right now to want to push you forward and to make you ascend. And it's only got a small window. It's got a small window for you to pay attention to this energy, because as we begin to rebuild our lives and rebuild our sense of self, I mean, we are creatures of will. We do have the ability to ignore these energies, and we can go back into the self-defeating behaviors that we had before that worked for us. And, we don't have to ascend. We don't have to learn from these energies. We can be unhappy for the rest of our lives doing the same things that we've always done, living in a state of fear and letting fear control our lives. And we can stay stuck on our South Node. That's your journey. That's your personal journey. The people that I'm hoping to touch, the people that I'm hoping to guide, are the people that want to ascend to the North Node energy. They want to create a change. They want to create that dramatic difference in their life. They want something more than what comes easily to them. They want to find their purpose. They want to guide through their purpose. They want to pull out the paintings that are under their bed and display them for everybody to see. And that's inspired by a comment that I have from one of my viewers. And she's told me that she had a bunch of paintings under her bed. And I'm thinking, your soul is under that bed. Why is your soul hidden under a bed? When that is what you were put on this earth to do, to shine, to display your soul, to help people, to talk about your art, to show. Or if you're a writer, but you write and you only put your writing, you write, and then after that you just keep them stacked up somewhere under a bed or in a bookshelf somewhere, but you never actually publish anything. You don't blog it. You don't do anything with it. But it's your soul. It's your north node. It's your inner happiness. It's your authentic self that's in there. Yet you deny yourself that. You have to understand why. And that is what understanding your north node, your true node, your authentic purpose is all about. And so I created this video because I'm going to go into the north and the south node extensively. I'll go through each and every energy, every sign, and I'll let you guys know through a video series. But for now, that's kind of a 101 because I still am doing my ascension process. And my ascension process is to some days stop working, being a Virgo, and paying my bills with my Virgo South Node self, and then to become my Pisces authentic node self, and to do what I'm doing right now, which this is my authentic purpose. But meanwhile, you got to pay the bills, and so I'm kind of stuck in that on the horizon between the north and the south node. I am ascending, but I can't fully ascend yet because I need some sort of stability for me to want to launch forward. And I'm sure that at some point this will be removed in my life when I'm ready, when the infant that I've created in my north node is ready to grow up a little bit. Then I think, God and the universe will come in, yank the rug out from under me again, and force me to make some decisions if I don't do them on my own. And that's just the beauty at play when it comes to the world. And that's change, and that's why we're here on this earth, is to challenge ourselves constantly and find the ability to be our authentic self. So I thought I'd just make this quick video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm going to be putting out May very soon. I have just been studying so much and trying to get everything ready for all the personal readings, and I've actually already just started on a couple, but I am working full-time and really hard right now, so balancing out all of this has become a challenge for me, but I will get to you guys as soon as I can. And I want to thank you very much for all of your comments, even though I'm not able to get to all of them like I always do. I am reading them, and they do mean a lot to me, and keep them coming. And I just wish you much love and happiness during this process. And I'm going to be back really soon in full gear for all of you so that I can find the time to take care of you guys on a one-to-one basis. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.